Live from Slinger Speedway in Wisconsin, coverage of the 45th Slinger Nationals. Here at Keenefeld, the Jim Trado here with you today. Qualifying has begun a little bit early as we've had a little bit of rain in the area, and frankly, they're preparing to get ahead in case there's a little bit more. You see the second car in the speedway to qualify. That is Dennis Prunty in car number 42. One of the fastest cars in practice today. His second lap at 11.538. Max Kaler was the first car out. You may have seen him moments ago. Kaler with a lap of 11.440, the current fast time. Dennis Prunty's final lap, not quicker than Kaler, 11.511. 28 super late models on hand here at the Slinger Speedway, the world's fastest quarter mile. We're glad those of you joining us here on Racing America and joining us on Facebook Live as well. 15 car, the third of 28 super late models on the track to qualify. This is Gabe Summers, the reigning Midwest Tour champion out of Plover, Wisconsin, on the Speedway. A guy that has not had an inordinate amount of success at this track through the years, trying for speed. 11.539, his first real get up to speed lap, third out of 3 cars. The top 16 qualifiers automatically lock into tonight's 200 lap main event. Summers' final lap, 11.453, second quickest behind Max Kaler's 11.440. Johnny Sauter, the next car to qualify on the Speedway. He arrived today, and they've been trying to get faster with this car every single time out, turned as many laps as anybody. Today in practice. Teams had practice yesterday and this morning and early afternoon. So Johnny Sauter, the former NASCAR Truck Series champion and Wisconsin racer, of course, grew up in that great racing family from Necedah. So let's see what Johnny Sauter can do. 3 laps on the scoring pylon. It'll be 4 laps, but there's a get up to speed lap and then 3 timed laps. Sauter's first good lap of record, 11.520. He's 4th out of 4. He'll need a little bit more. 11.440, the current quick time right now. Sauter jumps up to 3rd, 11.482. 3rd out of 4 cars to qualify. Jim Trado coming out onto the Speedway now. A guy looking to make his first national start. This is Willie Nelson.
Currently 8th in the points at Slinger Super Speedway out of Sullivan Mills, Illinois. Finished top 10 a couple times this season. They run super late models on 8 occasions over the course of the season. Willie's got a couple of top 10s already in this limited run.
Yeah, and he's been a big 8-type late model racer the last few years, so this is a big jump and a nice lap for Willie Nelson, 11.472. Not far off the fast lap for this young guy who has caught on quickly in anything he has done. His money lap here in qualifying, just a pinch slower, but he's 3rd out of 5 right now.
And we're going to be talking about slivers of a second. Here's Brad Keith in that number 48 Boucher Ford. That family is a marina owner here. They've been racing for a long time. His dad Tim is here, and they're working hard at getting this car dialed in to qualify top 16.
And Brad is one of those guys, Slinger regular, and the guys with experience on this track, be they regulars or guy who's just run this track frequently, have such an advantage at this place, like Keith, who goes 4th out of 6. 11.481. Again, 11.440 is Max Kaler's quickest lap so far. Quick lap in time trials. A little loose off the corner for Keith, and he pays the price right there. So if you're joining us and going, hey, they're a little early. We are a little early. As the drivers' meeting was wrapping up, Jim, there was rain falling from the sky, just a shower, and there's only a 10 or 15% chance of it. And 10 or 15% on us about 45 minutes ago. So they've kind of moved things up just a little bit as far as qualifying goes. A bit of a hustle for these teams, but some of them have been here since Sunday. They're ready to go.
I've been eager for this for months, and I'm sure these 8 minutes that we started early are not going to be too much of a deal, but I'm glad you're joining us now and continue to watch the live look-in, if you will, and thank you for subscribing to Racing America to watch one of the classic short track races 45 years ago, over a couple of years. Dick Trickle and track owner Wayne Erickson, who owned this track for many years, said, you know, we need to do a midweek special so I can make it. Trickle is racing full-time all over the country, mainly in the Midwest, but weekends are booked. So they decided to do a Tuesday night special that's been here since 1980.
No doubt about it. Racing's Midsummer Classic as far as short track racing goes, at least in its 45th year. Ryan Farrell, the next car to qualify for the 45th Slinger Nationals. Ryan from Big Bend, Wisconsin. He's the 8th of 28 cars to qualify.
He's also missed the last 2 times he's attempted to run the Slinger Nationals. Did not qualify in 2023 or 2021.
Fast time for Ryan Farrell, 11.426. 11.426. He gets past Max Kaler. Kenny pick it up even more, get into the threes. He does not. Third lap out of 4 around. The quickest for Ryan Farrell, who can lay down that good lap, who can run some good laps, and he's a former Wisconsin Challenge Series champion as well. Now this next guy on the track, good-looking car, fast car, and one of the very best coming here to Slinger.
Derek Thorn, he's lit up the West Coast for a long time. He actually raced her back in 2007 at Slinger Super Speedway as a teenager. He's back with this number 7 for Paulie Schaefer, and he's good here at Slinger Super Speedway. A little bit wide up at turn 4, but guess what, Eric? The last 2 times he's raced the Slinger Nationals for the last 2 years. Finished 3rd in both of those.
Absolutely, and he's going to be one to beat. His lap that time by not as quick as the second lap, 11.468. Jim mentioned that wiggle out of turn 4. Next lap, not quite as good either. He was 4th quickest on his best lap the second lap. 11.468 for Derek Thorn. It's Ryan Farrell, Max Kaler, Gabe Summers, Derek Thorn, and Willie Nelson here at top 5. Now the next guy on the track, 6-time track champion, guy who's been fast all week long.
The most recent track champion and the fastest guy in practice today, 6-time champ Steve Apel out of Slinger, Wisconsin. Lives within a couple of 9-irons from this racetrack. He has got it dialed in. He and R.J. Braun are teammates. They both have won track championships in consecutive years.
Steve told me yesterday, we were chatting, I said, what'll it take to be fast time? He said 11.225, I think, is top end. He was in the 11.2s today in practice. He goes to the top of the chart. 11.378 for Steve Apel, a guy who's been across the line first in this race once, but is not yet a champion. He lost that one in technical inspection. He goes quicker on his go-home lap, 11.358. So Steve Apel, who's been quick all week, stays quick right now. Top of the charts. 10th of 28 on the Speedway. A guy who's came here a lot, Jim, and puts on a lot of miles to get here.
Steve Dorr has raced and tried to make this race 10 times. He's made 7 Slinger Nationals out of Lakeland, Florida. Steve Dorr in the blue number 1.
Yeah, new dummy. We've seen him in 90. We've seen him in 10. First time I think we've seen him in number 1. Good-looking blue race car for Steve Dorr out of Florida. First go money lap for him is 10. His third lap is 10th quickest, 11.616. Steve's going to need just a little bit more. I don't think 6 is going to put you in the top 16.
So the top 16 have to qualify in on time. The big deal is if you don't qualify top 16, you have to run the last chance qualifier.
That's right.
You'll be penalized on tire wear just by having the opportunity to run the last chance. We'll talk about it more later, but in reality, they're focused on getting top 16 in time to not worry about tires or anything else besides the 200-lap race tonight.
And we should mention is Jesse Bernhagen hits the track in 28. Top 16 lock-in, that's a little different. It always used to be top 12.
Yep.
You still want to be in the top 12 because that's the invert for the 200-lap race. Jesse Bernhagen goes 9th quickest, 11.483. He makes the jump to super late models this year, too.
Great job by Jesse. He lit him up last year. He won everything here there was to win in late models at this very facility. He had a super late model he's been playing with the last couple years.
Good lap up to 3rd for Jesse Bernhagen, 11.428. 3/1000ths away from 2nd quickest for Bernhagen. So it's still Steve Apel, Ryan Farrell, Jesse Bernhagen, Max Kaler, Gabe Summers, your top 5. Now, a guy who's made as many starts as anybody without winning this Slinger Nationals, Brad J.J. Miller.
Since 1995, he's been trying to win this. He's finished 2nd. He's finished 3rd. He's had great runs. He's had 10 top 5 finishes, but never a victory.
He goes 5th quickest, 11.449. One more lap. He was feeling good about the car yesterday. Didn't quite have the speed today, but his words to me yesterday, sporty for this 89. Brad Miller, just a pinch slower on that final lap, but he's 5th. 11.449 should be right in that mix of locking in for tonight. That's something he's not necessarily done the last couple times on the track. All right, now another one of those guys with experience here, Jim, a former track champion, Alex Prunty on that 11th car.
Alex Prunty was 3rd in points heading into this one again for the weekly points, and he's got a very fast race car. He's already won this year in his weekly competition. They run 60 or 75 lap features here when the supers are here. Great shot of him and white flag coming by. This again is Alex Prunty.
He's 2nd quickest, 11.373. A 3.57 or better would put him atop the charts. He's only going to pass Steve Apel on that scoring pylon. Alex Prunty does it. Goes to the top. 11.314 for Alex Prunty in the 11. He's your new fast timer.
Our 14th car to take a lap is the number 22, the first Auto Group Toyota of Gio Ruggiero. Seekonk, Massachusetts, now living in Charlotte. One of the Toyota kids to watch. He's in the TRD program in every way. He's been racing in the ARCA Menard Series. He just ran Road American at TA2 car. They are putting this kid in places in the ARCA Menard Series East and West on road courses. He's doing it all, including racing ASA Stars full-time this year.
First big lap for him is 6th quickest, 11.441 for Gio Ruggiero. Southern Super Series champion last year. CRA champion, and I think the youngest super late model driver in the pit area at 19. Bumps up to third. Good job for Gio Ruggiero and the Donnie Wilson group. 11.360. That's their fastest lap of the whole week.
Donnie's here, and they did race this race last year with Gio. He finished 13th, so they've got notes to build on for that team that travels the country like nobody else.
That's right. They know what they're doing. Here comes the 40 car on the Speedway. Another former track champion here at Slinger. Jeremy Lepak out of Wausau, Wisconsin, the 15th qualifier. We're in the middle of qualifying for the Slinger Nationals.
Trying to make his 10th Slinger Nationals. He did not qualify last year nor in 2003, his first attempt, but he's a really good contender. I've seen him finish top 10 without a front fender on this car, without a front nose on this car, without a whole lot of damage, and still finish top 10 in the Nationals.
Good first lap, sixth quickest, 11.434, just a pinch slower the second lap. So Jeremy Lepak is sixth quickest. He might be sitting pretty, but there's still some quality cars. There's a lot of cars throughout this lineup of 28. Here's another guy that could beat them all by the end of the night.
Luke Fenhaus, the 2021 Slinger Nationals champion, 2021 Slinger Super Speedway track champion. If you recall, when he won the Slinger Nationals in June of 2021, he got invited the following Saturday to race here, live on CBS television in the SRX series, where he finished second to Marco Andretti and got a whole lot of attention. That keeps him in NASCAR, including this coming weekend at Pocono in the NASCAR Truck Series with the Sauter Sense number 66 Ford at Pocono in the Truck Series.
Second quickest, 11.345. Next lap quicker, but he just missed fast time. 11.327 to Alex Prunty's 11.314. Luke Fenhaus right now second quickest on the docket as the bumping procedures will begin. Here comes now the 17th qualifier, another former track champion, R.J. Braun.
R.J. Braun actually raced in an ASA Midwest Tour race that they combined with the series regulars here the last couple of years, called the Miracle on the High Banks, and he actually beat everybody last year. He's been racing some more races, not just here at Slinger, but man, this kid has really excelled from his days running a four-cylinder on this high bank quarter mile.
He's come a long ways in a short amount of time, that's for sure. Checkered flag lap for RJ. His second lap was good. His fourth lap is his best. 11.315, Jim. He's 1/1000th off of fast time, RJ Braun. So that's 17. So that means after each qualifier, we'll be bringing people off the infield. The top 16 stay locked in on the infield and await their fate. Here's how they stand in the lineup right now in qualifying for the 45th Slinger Nationals. Alex Prunty, 11.314. R.J. Braun, 11.315. Luke Fenhaus, third, 11.327. Steve Apel, fourth quickest, 11.358. And Gio Ruggiero rounds out the top five, 11.360.
One of the fastest cars at Slinger Super Speedway this year and even into last year, Dennis Prunty, is now 16th on the bubble. Isn't that crazy?
And he was the fastest car in practice earlier for the longest time, just unloaded today. But I heard Ty Majeski talking to our guys from Racing America, and he said the track tomorrow is going to be a moving target. He just kept saying that. I've seen that a lot in practice where there's not been a ton of consistency of who's been fast every session.
Jordan DeVoy is our next qualifier in the number 38 out of Delavan, Wisconsin. He has raced here one time this year in preparation for the Nationals, does a lot of racing at the Dells Raceway Park. He's run the Alive for 5 Series for a long time. Actually won the Icebreaker 100 a couple years back. His only attempt at the Slinger Nationals in a super late model was back in 2017 when he watched in the grandstands, did not qualify in the show for that one.
Jordan DeVoy, 11.586, that first lap outside the top 16. White flag lap for DeVoy to try and pick it up a little bit. He gets into the top 16. 11.472, 14th. Could use a little more to get a little comfier because there's still a handful of really good cars that could knock him out of that top 16. DeVoy, not as quick. He'll be 14th on the docket right now. He knocks Dennis Prunty out of the top 16. Here's a guy who I feel like has been around forever, Jim. He's still a young guy in the 17.
Grant Griesbach raced here when he was 10 years of age. He now has 12 years of experience on the Slinger High Banks. 22-year young Grant Griesbach in the Cobblestone Hotels, number 17.
Grizzled veteran Grant Griesbach, 11.543 on his get up to speed. White flag lap for the GT17. Nice lap for Grant, sixth quickest, 11.414. He needs a 10th to get to the top of the charts with Alex Prunty. Can he do it? Good looking lap out of 4. Just a tick slower. So Grant Griesbach, sixth now, 11.414. Still Prunty and R.J. Braun, Luke Fenhaus, Steve Apel, Gio Ruggiero, your top 5.
A big boost to Grant's program. Casey Johnson sets up this race car. Casey wasn't able to make it here yesterday. Had to punch in for the real job. So they only did one run. That's what Grant told me today. They did one run. Wait for Casey to show up to get these tires right where he wants them.
There's the guy that knows what he's doing, too. And you'll see if that 17 can hold up and be in the top 12, in the top 16. Johnny DeAngelis Jr., maybe as hungry as any of these guys to get that big win, maybe here at Slinger Nationals.
He's finished third here as recently as 2019. He's got 3 top 5 finishes in the last 10 straight. Slinger Nationals doesn't race for points anywhere. He wants to be ready. He's hungry. He's had a very fast car. He has been bullet fast in a lot of races. The results haven't shown how good this car has been over the last several years. A couple of wins, but man, a lot of coulda, woulda, shoulda.
White flag lap is 9th quickest for Johnny D, 11:4:33. Right in the mix, about a 10th separates the top 9 cars. Johnny D quicker on his last lap, but still 9th, 11:4:31.
My guess is 11:4:31 is about where we hope to see John DeAngelis in and maybe sitting near the bubble. That's how tight it's getting. The fastest time on qualifying thus far, Alex Prunty, 11.314. 16th in time right now, 11.537. Difference of a 1/10 and a half.
And it should be noted where he's at in 9th is the last car currently not locked in with 8 cars to go.
Yep.
Ahead of him, Jesse Bernhagen, Ryan Farrell, Grant Griesbach, Ruggiero, Apel, Fenhaus, Braun, and Prunty. They know they'll be among the top 16 racing tonight.
And thank goodness you're doing the math.
No one's ever said that till now about me, Jim.
Here's a driver that's counted in and out of a lot of races. Andrew Morrissey has raced a lot, but not recently. The Forest, Wisconsin racer just turned 40 years of age. He's been doing this for a while. Since 2003, he's been trying this Slinger Nationals for 12 different occasions. He's made 10 of them. He finished 5th here in 2004, but he's won some big races. And he is fast wherever he goes, and he stays in tune with his own chassis and shock business, helping out a ton of racers around the Wisconsin area.
He's a very smart guy and a good racer, too. He's 11.441. He's been among the fastest cars all week long here at Slinger. 2 more laps to get faster, so to speak. White flag lap for Morrissey, 3rd quickest, 11.319. 5 1,000ths, and he'll be at the top of the charts. Here comes Morrissey, the former Midwest Tour champion and Oktoberfest champion. Andrew Morrissey sets fast time, 11.260.
Dave McCardle said, I want to run Slinger. I want one of Andrew Morrissey's chassis. And this is the car that McCardle said, you know what, let's go play with you, Andrew. And man, are they paying off big time right already.
How about that? So now here comes the grand champion himself, the 4-time Slinger Nationals champion, Rich Bickle on track.
4-time Slinger Nationals champion. He told me he should have won about 9 of these. He won 5 snowball derbies in an 11-year span, so he knows when he gets on a roll, it's a big, hard roll. His last win, however, was back in 2013 in this race.
3rd quickest for Bickle, and he's just about to the top of the charts for fast time. What's he going to do on this final lap? Richie Bickle, identical to the 3rd lap. He ties Alex Prunty for 2nd, so technically he's 3rd in the order. And they didn't even get here till this morning to get the thing set up in practice. Not that Bickle needs any practice getting around here, but he is 3rd.
Slinger Nationals began in 1980. Rich Bickle's first Nationals, 1981. Been around a long time, but he's still part of the fabric here.
You know, and he hasn't been racing much this year, but he's had this on his calendar since day one. 45 car, 45th Nationals. He's all about it. You can tell, man, up to 3rd quickest.
And at the end of 45 years of racing, he said, I'm done. That was 2021. And here we are, Rich. You got 8 cars, 8 motors, a good team. Tony D'Ambrose helping you. Back for select events here in 2024.
No one's mad that Bickle hangs around, that's for sure. Car number 9, Derek Kraus. Now, this is a guy that if he could get a good qualifying run at the Slinger Nationals, I think he'd be golden. He's passed a lot of cars through the years because he's had to start so far back.
And unfortunately, he's usually had to go through the last chance qualifier and become the last 2 spots or 3 to get in there. Now, the 16 in time were to take some cars out of the last chance qualifier, the top 4 finishers there, and Derek desperately wants to avoid having to run the LCQ again for the Slinger Nationals.
Guess what? He's there right now, 11.542. He needs a little speed. White flag lap jumps him up into the mix up front. Derek Kraus, 8th quickest, 11.4. A little pickup and go a long ways for the 9 car. He stays in 8th, but that's good for Kraus, 11.433. He just might avoid that last chance race here this year. Now, this 62 car, Ryan Preece, first time ever at Slinger Speedway. You know that's not easy. He's been fast every time he's been on track.
In a car that Travis Dassau has prepared and got him to run. This is Travis's car that Casey Johnson raced in at the beginning of the year, the Joe Shear Classic at Madison. But Preece has taken this seriously. He is a short track racer to the core. He came here Friday to get some laps in before heading to Chicago and racing the street course in his full-time ride for Stewart Haas Racing in the NASCAR Cup Series.
6th quickest on lap 3, 11.341. Preece dives it off at turn 4. He's 6th quickest, 11.341. Brian Preece just, and a guy that had a lot of experience in a late model either, not just here at Slinger, but boy, he has been on point.
So we just saw a couple of NASCAR Cup drivers. Derek Kraus is actually going to make his 6th NASCAR Cup Series start of this year in Phoenix in the finale. He's run 5 of them already. Brian Preece, man, he had a nice run at Nashville, finished 4th there, his best run of the year 2 weeks ago.
4 cars left to qualify, including this car, number 14, Austin Nason out of Roscoe, Illinois. Guy who runs good in the distance races no matter where he's running them, Jim.
Last 3 Slinger Nationals, finished 5th, 4th, and 5th. Yes, he's going to be in the hunt today once again. Brian Johnson Jr. has it dialed in here. Brian used to race in this race as well. 5 times he's finished on the lead lap in his 8 tries, the last 8 years in a row for Austin Nason out of Roscoe, Illinois.
Needs some speed, gets some speed. Second quickest for Austin Nason on the white flag lap. Can he climb the mountain? He's a 2:59 or better. He's in the 2s, but he's second quickest. 11:278. A powerful lap out of Austin Nason, second quickest.
Our first qualifier was Max Kaler, the Kawicki driver, development driver, the first car to qualify after the draw last evening was beverage cans turned upside down. They had to do a random draw in a draw party last evening. Max Kaler drew the 1. He's the 16th car now in the serial. The lowest on the top 16 locked in. Max Kaler's time is 11.458. Fastest time, 11.260. And there's 14 cars between them.
3 cars left to qualify. So the nervous drivers include Kaler, Leapak, and DeAngelis. Can they lock into the top 16? Kraus, Griesbach, Farrell. Can they hang in the top 12 in the invert? 3 cars left. 2 guys that could set fast time in that last 3. And you see them there sitting on the ramp right now.
If you're just joining us, qualifying got moved up. We had some rain showers come in the area, so that made the officials say, you know what, let's get qualifying in. Let's don't wait till 4:45. Let's go now. That was at 4:22 p.m. when the first car rolled. And here we go, rolling through qualifying. And the driver that a lot of fans have come to see for good reason. The defending Slinger Nationals champion, Ty Majeski.
3 times the Slinger Nationals champion. If you're going to win it tonight, Jim, he'll join some rarefied air with some of the all-time greats. And Ty Majeski will take the green flag now, and the one everybody will be watching. He's not necessarily been the top of every practice chart the last day or 2, but he's been in the top 5 about every time he's been on the track. Let's see this go to speed lap for Ty Majeski. It's 10th, 11.394. They're chasing a 2.60. Andrew Morrissey, the fast time right now.
$1,500 to win this, too.
Yeah, that's right.
Fast time, $1,500 from Unified Electric.
That's right. 6th quickest, 11.321. Majeski one more time. Can he get a little bit higher up the ladder here? Final lap for Ty Majeski. Stays 6th quickest, 11.321. Solid lap for Majeski.
Next up, the car has been green and black for a lot of reasons. This is a very good reason to turn it into orange or the trim of brown. The Kawicki driver development colors on the board, the number 23 of Levon Vandergeest out of Merrill, Wisconsin.
23 with that little bitty 7 on the side there. You see that? And,
one of the 7 finalists this year.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, is going to give away T-shirts to whoever signs up and gets involved with signing that decal on the hood. You can be a fan to sign on that decal each and every race, and all the money goes to charity.
Vandergeest 11th on the white flag lap, so he's in the top 16 and into the invert on the front row as it stands now if he'd stay there, but he's going to go quicker. 9th quickest, 11.348. 11.348, the fast lap for Levon Vandergeest among those top qualifiers. But it looks like Andrew Morrissey in the car number 39. You see him on the screen. Fast time here for the Slinger Nationals. We did not see a qualifying lap completed for the car number 27, Jeremy Bentz. He was supposed to go between Majeski and Vandergeest. So 27 cars take time. I believe 24 are scheduled to lock in and race the Slinger Nationals here tonight. As qualifying wraps up, it's rapid fire here at the Slinger Nationals. And boy, Andrew Morrissey has been ultra rapid. You see him on screen. Talk with Rich Bickle down there. What a lap from Morrissey.
And he's the coolest kid in town. You know why? He wears a 2-piece fire suit. He can peel that top layer off and not have to sweat through 3 layers. Just hanging out, talking to Bickle. Here's Bentz trying to make his qualifying effort.
You see, and it looks like obviously having a little trouble getting that thing fired up. So they'll get him, just needs a lap or so ideally. But it looks like that thing's not firing. Jeremy Bentz out of Fox Lake, Illinois. Another guy like we talked about, Willie Nelson earlier, a guy that's ran more than limited late Big 8 style cars the last few years. And Bentz just kind of looking for a place to race and things to go do is his most recent home track, Rockford Speedway. Of course, the doors closed and put in a lot of laps today practicing, but unfortunately that car doesn't look like it wants to go.
It's got a fire on its own here. He can't record a time with a push truck.
No, you can't. And it wouldn't be any good if you did it anyway. So it looks like Jeremy Bentz will make the hard right-hand turn.
He will have an opportunity to make the show. The top 16 in qualifying are locked in. We know the top 12 will be inverted, so our front row we know is going to be Derek Kraus and Gio Ruggiero. We also know that Andrew Morrissey picked up $1,500 for winning fast time if all things go to plan in the tech area. Again, it's very important. These teams were told, hey, we're going to tech the carburetors right after qualifying. So that process is going to take place. But for all intents and purposes, Andrew Morrissey prepares a good piece. If he wins the pole position, it's $1,500. He'll start in the invert where he should, actually behind the invert. He's going to start like 6 rows back, 7 rows back in the field. Now all 16 drivers are going to be assembled for a photo in the fan area. The victory lane area at this racetrack, it's not on the racetrack. It's not in the middle of the X. It's in the fan zone. You come out the pit gate, you come out the gate at start finish, you walk over, there's a fan stage in the fan side of the fence for these top 16 to get a photo.
Right under our logo and to the left there by the flag stand. Yeah, they'll do the group photo. And you were mentioning about the different things as far as the lineup procedures and stuff. Top 16 qualifiers locked in. There are 4 provisionals that will be handed out. Those provisionals do not have to run the last chance race. So if everybody's fired up and able to go, we'll have 8 cars in the last chance race going for 4 positions to fill out a 24-car field. And again, a flip of 12 cars. Jim told you it'll be Derek Kraus and Gio Ruggiero, the front row. We talked about Kraus. If he could get in on time, he gets in. He's going to start on a pole of the Slinger Nationals.
Yeah, Levi Vandergeest has started 1st and 3rd in the last 2 Slinger Nationals, so he knows the importance of how cool it is to start up front. And it's Derek's first time to smile on that stage.
Absolutely.
He has been in that bubble zone for a long time, and what a relief for the driver that's in that red uniform with the white trim. That's Derek Kraus, the NASCAR Cup Series driver, part-time this year, standing next to Ty Majeski, the full-timer in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. He's right there in the middle of the black uniform with the orange trim. They're not doing it by height, but Ty somehow always finds the middle. And I could always find him when he wore the iRacing uniform, the white one. Now he's right there in the center with the incredible bank on the chest.
I like that Kraus is locked in, and by golly, he got right in the middle of the front of the photo. He's they're going to get him in there, man.
You can name them all. We're going to play quiz time. Jesse Bernhagen, Alex Prunty behind them, Grant Griesbach. The guy without a hat is Andrew Morrissey. Austin Nason behind him, that's Steve Apel. And then I'll stop at Derek Kraus, let you finish up.
Gio Ruggiero, I believe, behind Derek Kraus. And, we already cheated. We know it's Majeski there in the orange suit next to Kraus.
Luke Fenhaus wearing his I Want to Sell My Souvenirs hat.
They've been doing it today, too.
John DeAngelis Jr., R.J. Braun in the blue uniform, the big smile. Levi Vandergeest, Ryan Farrell, and the last 2 back there, veterans that like to have a beer and go racing really fast across the country. Austin Nason and that guy on the end with a big face smile.
Yeah, Rich Bickle. And boy, what a lap for Bickle, too, among the fastest cars. 4th quickest for Bickle in that 45. You know, he's going to be gunning for it here tonight. It looks like the big checks headed up for Andrew Morrissey. Always good when you start the day cashing big checks, you know?
Yeah, Lynn Whiter does such a nice job here working with Todd Thielen and the staff, just getting things organized, getting it rolling. They actually have Dan Casey in a golf cart riding around on here, and they are going to put together about $14,000 in lap money.
Wow.
And one sponsor, SodaSense, has stepped forward. Again, that's a sponsor that's just said, I want to give money to somebody. An undetermined lap yet. The leader of that lap will win $5,000 from SodaSense.
That's big, and they're not going to tell you the lap till the end of the race.
And the $14,000 is from fans, from companies involved, from team owners, from people walking in saying, I want to put my money on this lap. My favorite number is 73. I'm putting $50 down. I'm putting $100 down. I'm putting $5 down to sponsor laps.
And as far as the lap sponsorship goes, too, they're not asking you for much. They say $20 minimum. Take that out of your pocket. But a lot of folks, their generosity and bumping it up, and it all goes as far as to helping the drivers, so to speak, and putting that money in their pockets. And it's been a great tradition they've done here at the Slinger Nationals through the years. I think Todd Bailey's trackside with Rich Bickle. Let's try and get in on that conversation.
And all of a sudden, you start winning them right and left, and you're back.
Well, it is the 45th.
Yeah, that's true, and you got number 45 and all.
Well, you said retirement, and coming out of retirement is called retardedment. So, but, you know, these guys got here at 4:30 this morning. This car wasn't even nowhere near being ready. Everybody in the pits have worked their tails off. You know, I got to thank PMF for helping us out. The race bar up in the hill. I mean, I got the hardest working bunch of guys in the pits. I mean, he got here he worked all night, drove here, got here at 4:30. We finished the car in the pits, and it wasn't very good to about the last 2 times of practice. And you know, feels good to be in the race and not have to go through any problems and try to win one more.
I remember you ending your day at 4 o'clock in the past rather than beginning your day at 4.
Well, I had a lot of good teachers.
Austin Nason, you finished second in qualifying, so close. A 260 was the pole. You go at 278. You had a good couple of days of practice, but did that lap surprise you at all?
A little bit. I didn't think we'd go that fast. I knew we had a good car. We've had a good car the last 4 years. We led a bunch last year and just kind of messed up on our stagger game a little bit last year. So we've been working on it. We kind of stuck with our same package we've had. So it's fast. It's got good long run speed. So hopefully we can be there at the end again.
What do you got to do now? You're going to start, let's see, you're going to start, what, 11th?
Yeah, no, we're going to be back there a little ways. We're going to have to work our way. Lately, the last 2 years, we've started up front and led laps. But like I said, I think we got a really good race car, so we'll just have to be patient and pick our way to the forward.
Good luck. Go get him.
Thank you.
Austin Nason second in time. It was so close. We've seen it at the Slinger Nationals year after year after year, but man, oh man, this might have taken the cake as far as how close qualifying was.
Yeah, close as far as qualifying goes. As Dean Strom finishes up his interview with Austin Nason, Todd Bailing in his chat with Rich Bickle, and we see the Room of Doom right now on screen.
There's a scale in there, and they're all told ahead of time, as soon as qualifying is over, we're going to look at those carburetors. And if there's something funky going on or you missed the scales, you're in trouble.
And if you just flat missed the scale at any point tonight, no coming back. You're disqualified as well. So let's go through the times quickly as far as the top 16 goes. Those that lock into tonight's Slinger Nationals. Andrew Morrissey, your quick qualifier, 11.260. His first Slinger Nationals fast time. Austin Nason, second quickest, 11.278. Alex Prunty, third quickest, 11.314. Tied with Rich Bickle for that time. First qualifier of the two takes the higher spot, so Prunty third, Bickle fourth. R.J. Braun rounds out the top five at an 11.315.
Ty Majeski qualifies sixth on the invert. He's going to start sixth. Luke Fenhaus qualifies seventh. Ryan Preece, the NASCAR Cup star, qualifies eighth at 11.341, 0.081 seconds behind the next car. Actually, behind the pole sitter, 0.14 seconds behind seventh place, Luke Fenhaus. That's crazy quick.
Oh, man. It's close. It's quick.
Yeah.
And it's close, too. Levon Vandergeest, 9th. Steve Apel, 10th. 11.348, 11.358. 11 through 16. Gio Ruggiero in 11th at 11.360. Garrett Kraus, 12th quickest, 11.4 times into the Slinger Nationals. I don't think he's ever done that, and he'll be the pole sitter with the invert of 12. Grant Griesbach, 13th, 11.414. Ryan Farrell, 14th, 11.426. Jesse Bernhagen will lock in on the 28, 11.428. John DeAngelis Jr. gets the last magic ticket, 11.431. Those are the top 16 that lock in.
If you didn't hear your favorite driver's name yet, it's because they didn't qualify top 16. They're hoping for a provisional. If they run the last chance race, their names may be including these ones. Jeremy Lepak qualified 17th. What did he miss it by? 0.003 seconds.
Wow.
He actually tied DeAngelis. Who went out first? I think DeAngelis was in the picture, so Lepak's out.
Yeah, Lepak is out in 17th.
Brad Miller, 9 1,000ths of a second off in 19th. Gabe Summers, 4 1,000 seconds slower in 20th. Derek Thorn, Willie Nelson, Jordan DeVoy, Brad Keith. It doesn't matter if you're a minute later, you're out. You didn't qualify top 12. 0.212 seconds for DeVoy from pole, 23rd fast. He's got to run the last chance. Brad Keith, Johnny Sauter, the NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR Cup Truck and Xfinity Series driver, truck champ, 25th. Dennis Prunty, 26th. Steve Dorr, 27th. And we did not have Jeremy Benz taking time for the 28th car on property.
So essentially, besides Dorr in 27th, I believe from 17th to 26th, it's about a 10th, essentially, which means 26th to making it is just over a 10th of a second. That's the difference. Razor thin edge as far as who gets in and who doesn't as far as time trials go for this 45th Slinger Nationals. As far as the provisionals go, in case you're wondering, the lineup states this: most recent Slinger Nationals champ not in, or most recent Slinger late model champ not in, highest and current Slinger late model points not already in, most recent Touring Series champion not already in, and then a promoters/sponsors option as well. As we look at that, Jim, as far as points and champions go, the top two in Slinger Speedway points are not in right now. Dennis Prunty and Max Kaler. Of course, Dennis is a former track champion, might be the most recent, so they may both get provisionals into this thing. Gabe Summers, most recent touring champion likely. Last year's Midwest Tour champion probably gets in. And then you've got guys like Lepak, Miller, Derek Thorn perhaps racing for a way in, Johnny Sauter. I mean, it's going to be a small but mighty last chance race, that's for sure.
Yeah, and unfortunately for some of these drivers, they don't know yet.
Right.
And it's up to the series and the track. I should not say series. That's what I commonly say in the races I do across the country. It's a Slinger show. This is not sanctioned by anybody else. The rules are there. The Slinger staff are the ones officiating the race. And I think back to the Willy Wonka phrase, et cetera, when he talks about a contract dispute with some of the young kids in that movie. We don't know exactly who is going to be in and who's out until Slinger says, here's who's rolling down to start the 200 lapper. We may know a few once the last chance race takes place, if they've been given the out.
And we should also say that it's unofficial, too, until everybody rolls through this room here and gets tech, because we've seen that before, too. Cars quick in the quick 12, this and that, get popped in tech, and that moves somebody up a notch, maybe into the show or what have you. So all pending, of course, the move through the room of doom, but that's what we know right now. As far as qualifying, super late model qualifying in the books, and Andrew Morrissey, the fastest man in town for this 45th Slinger Nationals, with a lap of 11.260.
If you're here watching some drivers that have raced across Racing America, raced across the country, guys that have raced in the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing, one of them happens to be Gabe Summers. Gabe Summers won a championship last year, the Midwest Tour. The Midwest Tour ran a race already this year at the start of the season in April, running with the locals. That was a combined points race for both. He had to qualify in through a provisional for that race and ended up finishing in the 9th position. Gabe Summers is on the outside looking in tonight, so if he gets that touring provisional, he'll work his way in. One of the best guys around here. You see him at New Smyrna, he's awesome. When you see him around these parts, he's awesome. Slinger, not so awesome. And he's tried so hard to do well. As a matter of fact, won here on May 19th, a 75 lapper. Won the race, finally got a chance to score a victory. They tested yesterday, they got a bunch of laps in today, and they're still trying to fight their way in to race in the Slinger Nationals.
No doubt about it. You know, he's improved. No doubt about that here at this Speedway. But as we kind of covered as far as the times and who's in and who's not in, it just, you miss a little, you miss a lot here in qualifying for the Slinger Nationals. It's always been like that. There's always some surprises outside looking in. We've got that here tonight. But one thing about it, when we close the velvet rope and all 24 cars are locked in, this is going to be an all-star caliber field. One way or the other, it always is. We're glad you're with us here tonight, this evening, depending on where you're watching, across the country and around the world. Racing America, 45th Slinger Nationals. The late model cars are getting ready to qualify here very soon. The limited late models, Big 8 type late models, whatever you want to call them. They run them here, alternate with the super late model cars. A nice field, I believe about 19 of them, 19, 20. Ready to go here tonight. They'll qualify and set their lineup. No last chance races or nothing, and they will be the first of the 2 features tonight, the second of 3 races tonight.
We got a taste. We're within 0.2 of a second of home or not home, as in going home and qualifying. You now are locked in, right? You already bought your subscription? If you didn't, go to Racing America right now and lock it in. If you're watching us on socials, at some point we're going to say, thanks for watching, so do it now so you won't miss a single lap of the 45th running of the Cobblestone Hotel Slinger National, presented by Lynch, Buick GMC West Bend, and Miller Lite. It's the 45th annual. It's one of the big ones, especially up here in the upper Midwest parts. And these stars are ready to put on a show for you tonight.
No doubt about that. We're glad you're with us here this evening at the Slinger Super Speedway. And we're going to jump right into it right now. Qualifying for the late model cars here at Slinger Speedway. As we mentioned, somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 cars ready to go. Matt Urban will be the first qualifier here tonight for the late model cars. He's one of the weekly runners here, I believe, at Slinger Speedway. And he got a big wiggle there out of turn 2. Big wiggle for Urban in that 48 car. 6th place in the point standings. 12.447 the first lap for Matt Urban on time. Matt Urban from Slinger makes the long tow every week. Urban's next lap is quicker, 12.325. My partner's headed out the door. He's got his racing roundup show to do on local radio here in the Milwaukee area. Again, we're glad you're with us here tonight. Eric Henefeld with you, Jim Trado next in our incredible Racing America team here at the world's fastest quarter mile. The world's oldest teenager, Jerry Eckhart, out of Johnson Creek, Wisconsin. 81 years old, a living legend. 12.592 the first lap for the Orange Blossom Special in 61. His second lap will be quicker, 12.449. The fastest 81-year-old there is as well. That car second behind Matt Urban. One of my favorite cars in this late model class, based solely on that paint job. Mike Held, car number 72, from up the road in Hartford. Mike Held will go second. He goes to the top of the charts, 12.302. He's really moving. I just couldn't wait to get that joke in. Second lap for Mike Held is quicker. Good lap, 12.205 for Mike Held. He goes quicker. Ideally, each of these 2 laps for these late model cars will be quicker. Late models will time in. They run a 40-lap feature before the 200-lap Slinger Nationals tonight. Jeff Holtz in 88. Won here in the spring at the spring opener. A veteran of many different sorts of race cars. 12.322. Jeff Holtz, second quickest. Mid-Am driver, Truck Series driver in the Midwest Trucks. He goes to the top of the charts. 12.186 for Jeff Holtz in the 88. The 90 car next to go, Michael Guderiski, who started in the Super Cup division, quarter scale cars. Now racing in the late models here at Slinger. Michael Guderiski's first lap is 4th at a 12.351. The 5th car in this lightning round qualifying session for the late models in support of the Slinger Nationals here tonight. Guderiski's next lap is better. 3rd quickest, 12.297. 3rd out of 6 from Michael Guderiski. Another busy young man. This 98, Rick Redding-Tackman from Hartford. Mid-American Stock Car Series, late models. He's ran some ARCA cars, the big tracks, the televised ARCA shows. Tackman, 12.384. He's 5th out of 6 cars to take time. Second lap for Rick Redding-Tackman in 98. Stays 5th at a 12.384. One of the fastest cars in practice today is on track now for these late models. This is Tom Behrens. Tom Behrens from Slinger on the track. 3rd in the current Slinger Speedway point standings. First lap for Tom Behrens is 3rd quickest at a 12.222. Deuce is wild for Tom Behrens on the first lap. 12.186 is Jeff Holtz's current quick time. Behrens bobbled and still goes second at the 12.1s. 12.190 for Tom Behrens in the 99. They're still clearing super late model cars off the infield. Should be the last of them to head up towards the technical inspection line. 7 of, I believe, 20 of the late model cars to qualify. The limited late models, super late models, head off to tech to finish all that off. Still some quality cars in line to qualify for the late models, gunning for fast time, which is a 12.186. The track record in the 11.9s here at Slinger Speedway. I don't think we'll get there today. We could get close. Jacob Nottestad holds that track record. 97 car, the native of Cambridge, Wisconsin, former track champion here. Our next late model car rolls out for qualifying down the hill. That's a great perspective on that camera. That's in the middle of turn 1 and 2. If you ever come here to Slinger, you got to stand up in the middle of turn 1 and 2, right about where that camera's at, up a little bit where the auxiliary grandstands are. It is a very unique view of this facility. Very unique facility. Chris Flaherty in a 114. He's ran hobby stocks for a few years, jumped up to this late model. Always a good-looking car. Chris Flaherty in a 114 is the 8th qualifier. He goes 12.460, 1.2460 on his first of 2 recorded laps. He needs a little help to get somewhere other than the bottom of the list. Second lap for Flaherty gets up to 7th, 12.442. He's 7th out of 8, gets ahead of Jerry Eckhart. Ryan Gutnecht, former champion in this late model division here at Slinger Speedway. He's currently 5th in the point standings. Not quite where he wants to be on the weekly level. First lap for Gutnecht is 4th quickest, 12.248. 1.2248 for Ryan Gutnecht. Not a bad lap, a little pickup, a 1/10 of a second would give him fast time. Gutnecht, not quicker, stays 4th. 12.248 is quickest lap. Car number 1 from Machesney Park, Illinois is Josh Thiering. Josh Thiering making the venture up here to Slinger Speedway. Races more so at the Jefferson Speedway in Wisconsin now. What real wild on that first time lap, 12.735. His home track was the Rockford Speedway, where he ran the last few years in a late model and bagged a couple of wins. Settled into this late model pretty nicely. Second lap for Thiering is not as good because he was really wild out of 4 coming around to complete that first lap. So work to do for Josh Thiering, 12.735 is 10th. Car number 3, couple of feature wins here this year at Slinger Speedway. Tyler Hramadka out of Colgate, Wisconsin. First lap for Tyler is 6th quickest, 12.324. He's 4th in the point standings. As we mentioned, 2 wins that leads the division here on Sunday nights at the world's fastest quarter mile. Tyler Hramadka into the top 5, 12.266, 1.2266. So Hramadka in the top 5. Here's the 9 of Simon Seifert from Saukville, Wisconsin. He'll come around for his first lap. The white flag lap for Simon is 9th quickest at a 12.388. 12.388. Top 6 separated by a little over 1/10 of a second, in case you wondered. Top 10 by about a 1/4 of a second. Simon goes to the top. What a lap. 12.154 for Simon Seifert in the 9. Multi-time Slinger track champion John Reynolds Jr. on track in the X car. He's also the current point leader, and he has the best first lap of the day, 12.172. 5-time champion at the old Rockford Speedway. John Reynolds Jr. doesn't need much. Fast time for Reynolds, 12.030 for John Reynolds Jr. in the X cars. We get long in the tooth in qualifying for these late model cars. Here's a car that was quick in practice today. The 12, that is Ryan Wire. Good looking car, but fast today. Where's he gonna go? First lap is 10th, 12.345. Needs a little kick to get to the top of the charts. Well, Reynolds has really set the pace at a 12.030. Second lap for Ryan Wire, bumps it up to 7th, 12.257. It's a good lap for Ryan. A little more comfy. 14 car, you may be familiar if you're a late model fan in this area with Austin Nason in that car. That is Michael Bilderback in the 14 car. Michael Bilderback out of South Beloit, Illinois, 12.242. And that Nason-owned 14. Michael, a couple of Big 8 wins under his belt this year. One of the best of the Big 8 type late model drivers there is. He goes second quickest at a 12.147. 1.2147. Bilderback behind Reynolds, top 2 in qualifying. Late model qualifying here for the Slinger Nationals. Mitchell Delkamp in 16 from Germantown. First lap for Delkamp is 10th quickest, 12.288. Second lap for Delkamp. That's a car that's been around this track for a long time. That team 16. Good lap to 3rd for Mitch Delkamp, 12.152. 3rd quickest for Mitch Delkamp in the 16. The youngster in 17, Billy Braun. Billy Braun from Wales, Wisconsin. First lap, 12.215. Well, it's getting a little closer at the top of the chart. Not much separates. Fast from last here tonight. Second lap for Billy Braun. He's second quickest, 12.077. 1.2077, second quickest for Billy Braun. Drew Bernhagen in 27 out of Marcusson. His brother Jesse put it in the super late model Slinger Nationals earlier tonight. First lap for Drew Bernhagen will be 12.571. A little work to do. He's 17th so far. Should be 1, maybe 2 more cars left to qualify. Second lap for Drew, quicker but not enough to jump. He stays 17th, 12.461. 36 car out of South Beloit, Illinois. It's Jaden Dahlberg. Young man in his 3rd year in a late model. Went from 6-cylinder cars to a full-blown late model and has adapted quite well. 12.321 for the kid they call Mater. 13th on the first lap. A little pickup could get him maybe even to the top 5. Second lap for Jaden Dahlberg. How about 9th? 12.227. Car number 38, the penultimate qualifier for the late models tonight. That's Evan Hasler. Evan Hasler in car number 38. More local flavor, weekly racer. Hasler's first lap, 12.332. He's 15th, needs a little bit more. There's one more car on the ramp. Final lap, good lap. Hasler third quickest, 12.136. All right, last qualifier brings you a little drama because he's a fast one. Zach Prunty, 39. From Lomira, just up the road. He's second in the current point standings. Behind Reynolds, the X, who's also the quick qualifier so far. First lap for Zach Prunty, 13th, 12.260. Needs himself a pickup to be a little bit ahead of the middle of the pack. Second lap, how about that? He goes up the charts to third at 12.082. 1.2082, third quickest for Zach Prunty in the 39. But John Reynolds Jr. in the X car, fast time for the late models. He is the point leader here at Slinger Speedway in this late model class. He's the quickest car in town, 12.030. Quickly a run through of late model qualifying. Reynolds quick time, second quickest Billy Braun, 12.077. Zach Prunty third quickest, 12.082. Evan Hasler goes fourth quickest, 12.136. Michael Bilderback in Austin Nason's 14 car, fifth quickest at a 12.147. 6 through 10, Mitch Delkamp, Simon Seifert, Jeff Holtz, Tom Behrens, and Mike Held. 11 through 15, Jaden Dahlberg, Orion Gutenecht, Ryan Wire, Tyler Hermadka, and Michael Guderski. The rest of the group, 16th, Matt Urban, 17th, Rick Reddig-Tackman, 18th, Chris Flaherty, 19th, Jerry Eckhart, Drew Bernhagen, 20th, Josh Thiering, 21st. 21 late models on hand. All 21 will run their 40-lap feature coming up. So opening ceremonies, as you see on our screen, will begin at 6:20. So about an hour until opening ceremonies here tonight. And of course, if you joined us a little late, the weather threw us a little bit of a curveball earlier tonight here at Slinger Speedway. A little mid-afternoon shower passing through, just a splotch on the radar. And so we look at the radar, a couple of splotches here and there, but nothing real serious nearby for now. And we hope it stays away as the night goes on, as Hurricane Beryl, the remnants of it, moves to our south and just across the Illinois border. They appear to be getting rain there, but we should, knock on wood, be able to stay free of that here tonight. Opening ceremonies at 6:20. Always a lot of pomp and circumstance involved with opening ceremonies here at the Slinger Nationals. We'll have that trackside. And then when we go racing here tonight, and as it stands right now, we're scheduled for a 6:45 green flag. For our first race of the night, Super Late Model qualifying race, which as it stands right now, will have 8 cars for 30 laps and top 4 advance. And if you've never seen a race here at Slinger, 30 laps goes pretty quick. That'll be the first race. Then we'll bring out the late model cars that you just saw, the limited lates for their 40-lap feature, and then set the stage for the big one here tonight. 200 laps, the 45th Slinger Nationals. Big money on the line. The grand gathering here at the world's fastest quarter-mile oval in southeastern Wisconsin. We're glad you have joined us tonight on Racing America across the country and around the world. We'll stay tuned with everything going on as far as on track, as we'll hook up with Track PA. Todd Baling, the voice of Slinger Speedway, and Dean Strom working pit side. We'll probably jump in with Dean a little bit tonight as well for on-track interviews, and during the halfway break of the Super Late Model race, jump in with him on pit row when we can as well. But for now, here from the booth, we will take a small break and come back around opening ceremonies to get ready to go racing on this grand evening of short track racing. They've been doing it here in Slinger, Wisconsin since 1980. The Slinger Nationals, and you're watching it live on Racing America.
Drivers have little bins set up down there, and the driver that raises the most keys is going to get a $100 gas card, and all the money that is raised from selling those keys, they're made out of brass in most cases. All the money that's raised is going to go to, with muscular MS Foundation. So help them out. I know you're not probably going to have the keys with you tonight, but put it on your to-do list for the 14th. That's Sunday night. Bring those keys back and support some great charitable causes. Oh boy. Is that safe? You give the conologist a T-shirt gun? I don't know. Is that a wise move? Conologist is down here in between turns 1 and 2. He's got some T-shirts in the T-shirt cannon. So heads up, you could get a T-shirt.
Well, Dean Strom, you know, when you ask me about how much I know about technical issues, it's usually a pretty short conversation. So I'm not the one to really be able to answer technical questions. So I don't know the exact reason that our fast qualifier did not pass our post-qualifying inspection. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but I